One more thing. Eugene, give me that. If I ever find one of these lying around again, I swear to fucking God, I will stop being so polite. Get the fuck out of my sight before I demolish you.
Alright, enough of that. Oh, goodness. Hello. It is Thursday. Thursday. It's been a little bit since I've done a live stream. But I figured I'd go ahead and do something before holiday break. Basically, after today, so from now until, I want to say, when do I get back? Next Friday. I am officially off the clock in regards to working on any YouTube stuff. The only things I'm gonna do are the things that I am obliged to do over the next couple of weeks that I've already made arrangements. Like, I've got a doctor's appointment and stuff like that. But I'm not doing anything else beyond that. So I figured I'd do a live stream beforehand, talk about the things that are going to be going on next year, changes that are going to get made, things along those lines, just to kind of, give people an idea of what's going on. We'll talk about some stuff. First and foremost, one thing I'm looking for, or that I wanted to rant about, because this kind of pissed me off a bit, because we're getting to, like, I'm getting to a point where I hate culture warriors so fucking much, to the point where I really wish they would go full mask off so I could make the accusations that I want to make with complete evidence as to the way these people actually are. So, some of you might have seen on the Twitter today, I mentioned something out of the blue. I'll bring it up. I said, people ass mad about a space wolf being black seem to forget that in 40K, all of humanity left the Earth at a point to colonize other worlds. That includes people who aren't white. Just because a chapter is based on a culture doesn't mean they all have one skin color in 40K. And before some smartass says something dumb, no, I don't care if there's a white member of the Celestial Lions or the White Scars either. So, what brought that up is I saw they announced that they are going to have, for Space Marine 2, some additional paid DLC. Where they are going to have some heads that you could put on your Space Marines, each based on a certain chapter. They showed 3 off. One was the Black Templars, which the guy had a headpiece kind of like Helbrecht's. One was the Blood Angels, which was just a dude with a couple of service studs and really light blonde hair that looks like a model. Because for those who don't know, Blood Angels look extraordinarily good looking. All of them do. It's kind of ridiculous. AJ for $10 says, really enjoyed your deep dive on G Gundam. Takes me back as a kid growing up. Think I might get the RG. RG God Gundam specifically. My wallet might call me a slur, but by my God, building Gundam is so much fun. Yes, it is. I like building model kits just in general, which we're going to talk about that later. But anyway, the Space Wolf head that they showed for Space Marine 2, which again, optional purchase, was a black guy with a beard and an eye patch, and the Culture Warrior subreddit for 40K, which is basically their Kotaku in action, what was losing their shit over it. Be like, well, the Space Wolves are based on fucking this, that, and the other. And it's like, well, yeah, based on, but we're also taking the context of the universe out. I can't remember a time where it was said that there's only white people on Fenris. I've never heard of that in any of the books. I've never heard of that in any of anything. We're getting to a point where I honestly feel like I'm hearing this constantly with 40K. Every time that a black character shows up on screen. And I'm at a point where I have to ask the obvious question. Do you really not know about 40K and the fact that all of humanity went out into the stars? Or does having a character that doesn't look like you on the screen upset you? Because if it's the latter of the two, then that's a personal problem. Maybe you're a racist. Maybe. Maybe you're just a dipshit. I don't know. Not that there's much of a difference between the two sometimes. Though not all dipshits are racists, but all racists are dipshits. 40K it's science fiction. It's set in the far future. All of humanity went among the stars. All of humanity. You know? And I genuinely do not give a shit if there is a black space wolf or if there's a white guy in Chigoris or anything like that. It does not matter to me. What matters to me is that the setting and the tone of it stays the same. If it started becoming something, let's say like how D&D is these days, where D&D is basically kind of it doesn't feel like D&D anymore. It feels like Dragon Age, and now Dragon Age became like fucking Barney. You know, like that is what where the problem lies, is whenever you start to see a tonal shift. But considering I just read a book not too long ago where an entire like temple was made out of the bones of a bunch of civilians, you know, I don't see that changing anytime soon. If you're in charge of a live action application of Wing, I think you mean version. Would you choose movies or show? Neither. I don't think Gundam Wing should. I'm kind of opposed to Gundam really having a live action version. What they've done to D&D is a travesty. Second edition still plays great. Yeah, 2.5 is like what I came up on. 2.5 and third edition. Like Dungeons and Dragons is really weird because to be honest with you, Baldur's Gate 3 felt like the last bastion of the kind of D&D that I grew up with. You know, like Baldur's Gate 3 got really fucking dark. Really fucking dark. Whereas modern D&D, like, you tell people about something like the Book of Vile Darkness, they will lose their mind. They'll be like, what? Like, that's a thing? Yes, that's a thing. Dungeons and Dragons used to be hardcore dark fantasy. You know, and to be honest with you, they're like, when you start getting into like Forgotten Realms and stuff like that, you got into some really twisted stuff and some really unique stuff too. I mean, played Planescape Torment, you know? So but like that's what I'm worried about. But my worry is that you're gonna start to lose it, because I personally couldn't give a shit about Dungeons and Dragons anymore. They don't really have the tone that it used to be. It's lost a sense of itself. It's not what it's just not fun. You know, it's not fun anymore. Well, yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 was just, again, it's the last bastion of like an old school style Dungeons and Dragons story. Whereas 40K doesn't seem like it's losing its sense of self. It's still very dark. Servant renews his membership, says modern D&D would have my own mother calling them cowards for what the modern stuff is. Bring back the horror, dang it. Yeah, like one session that I played ages ago was completely horror based. It was set in an insane asylum that had a chained up mind flayer underneath it that had been driving all the people above it insane. So the whole thing was like this giant unethical experiment that had been going on, trying to see what the effects of a mind flayer on and its psychic abilities would be on people if they tortured it. So I think Critical Role did both push D&D bigger and made it more about being silly. Well, that's sort of the thing that I wouldn't blame it on Critical Role, though they do have an effect on it. Dungeons and Dragons, for a while, had its meme reputation. Like a lot of things in tabletop have what we call the meme reputation, in the sense that everybody that plays D&D, you have that guy, right? You have that guy that does dumb shit, right? Because he can. Because the thing about tabletop is it offers you a shocking amount of freedom, and funny stuff can happen, but that's not necessarily what the tone of it is meant to be, because if you make it too silly, those moments don't really matter anymore. You know, they don't have the same impact. The idea of having you know, four serious guys and then a fifth guy who's a crazy man, if everybody's a crazy man, then that's the new standard. And it doesn't stick out as when it's not as fun. So when you try to make everything about, when you make it too light, it takes away from the whole experience of playing a game of Dungeons and Dragons. And it's not tense anymore. It's not interesting. You don't work as a cooperative. You're just all doing silly things. And that to me is, you know, you're kind of missing the point. You know, the great thing about it is the freedom of tabletop, but still keeping it kind of grounded. And you can be as silly or as serious as you need to be. That was the great thing about Dungeons and Dragons. I've been playing the 40K tabletop RPG, which is called what is it? Wrath and Glory. And Wrath and Glory, we had a session, so it's me and a few other guys, and the group is made up of my character, which is a salamander apothecary, then a lamenter devastator marine, a Raven Guard sniper, a space wolf reaver, and an inquisitor who is pretending to be a Tempestus scion because he walked into a group of space marines, all of whom either have bad relations with the Inquisition or are more humanitarian than the Inquisition would like them to be. So he's trying to pretend he's something he's not, because he's worried that these four Astartes will destroy him. Well, at one point, a person on the team, he forgot his character sheet and he forgot to properly save it on his hard drive. So he would have had to make it all over again. So basically what we had him be eaten by basically what is an armored hippo. I don't remember what we called it. A bippo, something like that. Either way, it was an indigenous animal to that planet, right? So it eats the lamenter, heavy bolter and all, and runs off with him. So the session becomes about finding the lamenter, while having to deal with a bunch of orcs. So what we ended up with was me literally grabbing a grot who was a bit of a smartass and telling him, "You're going to point me in the direction that thing went and where their nest is, so we can find our fellow Astartes." And we did just that. I had a fucking seeking grot that I was just holding out like this. That's funny, you know? And you have that freedom, but it's still, 40K. But you're, I don't really feel outside of it. If everything in it was silly, if there was no darkness to it, if there was no risk to it, if there's no tension, it's no longer itself, and it becomes lesser in some ways. And that's sort of the problem that D&D ran into, is they're like, let's make everything silly and lighthearted, as opposed to letting it stay what it is and let people determine how they want their game to be. If they want their game to be super dark and fucked up, let it be super dark and fucked up. If they want it to be lighter and sillier, let them do that. But leave that in the group's hands. Don't like alter your whole approach to role playing, like to be just goofy. It's not the same. So, have I ever played trading card games? When I was a kid, and I didn't like them, so I will never do them again. Breadbox here says, I think a serious game with some silly moments is a better experience than zany chaos. Down to preference, but Wizards have been playing much more into the latter. Basically, what I'm saying is, because at the end of the day, with that grot I told you about, I literally chucked him into the sky and we played skeet shooting with him. The Lamenter who got swallowed, survived, obviously, because he was back for the next session. Takes out his heavy bolter, lets out one burst, and blasts a little fucker. It was great. And we're having fun with the orcs and stuff like that, but the sessions could turn darker as it goes on. You never know. Because orcs are not always fun. We'll put it that way. Anybody who's ever read Rin's World will tell you that. But anywho, what we plan on doing, and by we I mean this channel, is there's going to be some new stuff that's going to come around next year. So for those of you who are members and or patrons, if you're giving money to the channel, obviously you're going to continue to get early access to videos. A couple of people in here have already mentioned the G Gundam video that just went live. That doesn't come out officially until Saturday. You're going to obviously still get that. People who are in at the $5 tier or more are going to have access to the podcast that Shirt Dude and I are going to be doing. The title of it is called Masters of Lore, and anybody who is at the $10 or more tier is going to be able to suggest topics when we do the roll call for them. Unfortunately, the first roll call did not go well because I said, and people didn't read it, I said, we're looking for subjects for the first few episodes. We want to keep it to just these two universes, which are Gundam and Warhammer 40,000, because those are the two that I'm really, really knowledgeable about. I didn't want to start moving beyond that. I just wanted to start with something stable. And everybody starts talking about BattleTech. See this expression on my face? This is how I was looking. I'm like, and there's a reason for that. I don't know shit about BattleTech. Like, I legitimately don't know a fucking thing about it. I don't. I don't even know where to start. I know that the mech that everybody knows about is the Timberwolf. That's what I know. Like, at that point, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? I can't do a podcast about something I don't know a fucking thing about. Like, guys, come on. So, thankfully, someone suggested if you can't do that, do some stuff about the Iron Warriors. I'm like, thank you, God. At least my favorite Traitor Legion in 40K. I can talk about the Iron Warriors. So, I have the first 5 episodes planned out. Because we're going to talk about the Iron Warriors. We're going to do an episode about some Gundam stuff. Go back to the Iron Warriors to talk about the Damanculaba. Because, yeah, we're going to bust that out early. And then we're going to do another Gundam thing. And then we're going to finish with a discussion on Perturabo, who is the Primarch of the Iron Warriors. So, that'll be a lot of fun. So that's one thing that's the big new change, is the podcast is going to be a weekly thing. We've already got art assets that are being made. I might have showed this off. I don't remember if I showed off the final. Give me 1 second. So this is Shirt Dude, obviously. Oh my god. Have I ever heard of Ace Combat? Who hasn't heard of Ace Combat? I'm not really into it though, no. But yeah. This is one of the two avatars. Mine is being worked on as we speak. Um but yeah, Shirt Dudes is finished and I love it. It's great. And then the sketch for mine has been started. But the difference is that we're gonna have the Uncle Micah sweater on the robot. So yeah. So that's the big thing. But one thing that we're also going to do is we're going to start doing more streams per week. Are you gonna be sticking with sci-fi lore, or do you plan to branch into fantasy? Right now, science fiction. I am not that big into fantasy. I mean, granted, I could do Dragon Age pretty easily. I recall a lot of that lore offhand. I could do early Dungeons and Dragons stuff too. I don't know that much about Tolkien. I read Lord of the Rings when I was really young, and then haven't picked it up since I was like 12. I've never been a big fantasy guy, honestly. I just never have been. Here, will Neo Zeon War be a single series, or the first Neo Zeon War get a full series to itself? First Neo Zeon War will be a series. Second Neo Zeon War will get its own video as well. So they'll be separated, because that's obviously the next big breakdown that we're doing this next year, is doing a yearly thing about, or a deep dive into Double Zeta. I wanted to do it this month, but with as hectic as my schedule has been, just, and also just getting constant headaches, I have not been in the spot to do it. So, which kind of sucks. The admit, like, even today, I got back the shipping information for the first batch of Cyberpop stuff that just went out. And I had to input every single tracking number one person at a time, instead of just being able to upload a CSV to Indiegogo to just have them bulk notify everybody of their tracking numbers. So I was like, fuck. So that took me like a couple of hours. So how far off would be from Rate the Mecha for IBO? We'll do it at some point. One thing I will spoil right now, once we do the second Neo Zeon War, I don't know if we're gonna do Unicorn for the deep dive stuff, for the Gundam Explained series. We might not. If whether we do or don't, will be something, because the thing is that if we do that, I'm also gonna want to do Phoenix hunting, which is obviously, and the other problem is I'm gonna have to like pick up the book again. The book is kind of dry, and read through it. Though from what I understand, there is a manga that's out there, and the manga is actually based on the book. not on the television show. So I might do a comparison of like the manga to the show, but that's something that people will ask for because Unicorn, the show, the OVA series, and the whatchamacallit, the novel are different stories. Like the large amount of the story is basically the same. You know, like the large parts of the plot, but there's small details here and there. Um, if I remember right, Benager had a slight drug problem because he got constant headaches. And there's a lot more hints. They do a little bit of hinting of it in the OVA and then drop it. Is that he's a cyber new type, which he's supposed to be. At the end of the book, both Riddy and Benager die from trying to stop the colony laser. So, regardless, um, if we, whenever we stop that, if I decide to do it or decide against it, um, around that time we will be doing a full breakdown of IBO, including a Rate the Mecha. Have I done a video on G Gundam? If you're a member, you would know that already. Sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there. But we actually just finished the G Gundam video. We it just got finished yesterday and went up for members last night. So members have early access to it right now. And it's a long video. It's like 40 minutes, I think. Check. Was Gundam Unicorn originally supposed to be part of UC canon? Oh yeah, it was always intended to be. Yeah, it's almost 44 minutes long. And it came out great. I'm really happy with how the G Gundam video came out. But anyway, so the podcast is a big change. The next big video series is obviously going to be on Double Zeta. We're also going to be keeping the Gundam horror series going. The next ones that I plan on doing are the Turn A, the Devil Gundam, and I think we had one or two more. Oh, the Barbatos and the there was another one aside from the Barbatos. So there's a couple from IBO that we're gonna do, and then one that we're gonna throw that's gonna be a bit of a left turn is the Gundam Aerial. Which the Aerial one will be half serious, half silly. Because the end of it is going to be just like you have to live the rest of your life as a fucking keychain, which is so bullshit. That's so fucking stupid. So so yeah, we're gonna continue with that series as well. But the way that streams are gonna change is that we're going to do instead of doing Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to switch to Mondays and Fridays. That way I have a longer gap to work on. Like basically Mondays will be a live stream, then I work throughout the week, and then Friday will be like the live stream that ends the week for everything. I'm gonna start trying to give myself weekends off. I haven't been really doing that. I've been kind of burning the candle at both ends, and I need to start taking better care of myself this year. So that's gonna be part of the reason that we're gonna do that. Is there a reason why English localization still refer to the God Gundam as the Burning Gundam? Yes. They were worried about offending Westerners by calling it the God Gundam. Which I can kind of see why they would do that. Because just like calling it a deity would probably piss a lot of people off. You know, even though it's meant to be sort of like a, you know, like the polar opposite of the Devil Gundam, you know, which, whatever, it is what it is. I think I admittedly think that Burning Gundam's a better name. You know? Like, Erupting Burning Finger sounds better than Erupting God Finger. Honestly, it just does. So, how's the Sentinel read going? Ugh. The less I said, it's really dry. It's so fucking dry. It is not something must have got lost in translation. It's not fun to read. It's really not. I'm not liking it. Every time I pick up Sentinel to try to read it, I get through a little bit and I'm just like dying. I'm like, "Oh my god, this is so fucking how do you make Gundam boring?" So, yeah, Sentinel's going to be a while. But anyway, on to the live stream stuff that we're going to be doing. So what we're going to do, how we're going to schedule it out, is we're going to have Model Kit Mondays, and then Fridays will be either a discussion stream like we're doing right now, or it's going to be me trying to get into whatchamacallit, fucking Battletech. And how we're going to do that is I managed to get my hands on MechWarrior 2. So we're going to play through MechWarrior 2 and try to get into it that way. Basically, I'm doing something a little different. I'm going to try to get into it based on vibes, which sounds a little weird for me, but hear me out on this. A lot of what gets me into certain universes and certain stories is the tone of it. And that's part of the reason why I like 40K so much. It's a very dark tone. Part of the reason that I like Berserk as much as I do, and so on and so forth. So I want to get in, instead of just reading a bunch of information, I want to get in on the ground level, like a normie, and just see what it's all about. So what I do, I have MechWarrior 2. I also have a couple other games. I have MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries installed, and I also have the Battletech strategy game from Paradox installed as well. Thought MechWarrior and Battletech are unrelated? Nope, same universe. There was a time when they weren't because of licensing issues, but that's been resolved. Right now, the MechWarrior game is owned by, like, the license to that game is owned by Microsoft. But the franchise is owned by somebody else. But either way, I'm going to be trying those games out to see if I can get in on it on the ground level. And if I find it interesting, then we'll go from there. But I'm not looking to get into a bunch of new sci-fi shit this year. So looking into heavy gear, probably not going to happen. Again, I don't want to dump myself into a bunch of stuff. I just don't have that kind of time. So, but anyway, so with model kit stuff, we're going to be doing a couple of different things. Obviously we need to do the kits that I have not finished. So I have to do the Rick Diaz. I need to finish that. I need to finish my Nightingale and then start on other stuff. What are your thoughts on a 21st Primarch? We don't need more Primarchs. But I need to finish the kits that have been started. We will do those first. After that, or in between that though, whether I do this on my own time or in front of you guys, I will be working on this. got myself a Tech Marine. And the more I look at this, the more I'm looking forward to painting it. But before anybody asks, no, I didn't buy any Citadel paints. I'm actually going to just use the acrylics I already own. So, and I've already got a set of brushes for just such an occasion. So, I'm good there. And on top of that, I also have plenty of sponges that I can use for wet palettes. So, that's not a big deal. What I also got, and don't worry, I already ripped open the box. So, this didn't get sent to me this way. But these are Raven Guard Primaris upgrades and transfers. Which, I mainly bought this for the Tech Marine because this is where they get you. I'll open the Tech Marine box real quick. So the Tech Marine comes with a very specific set of decals. I don't remember if I put them in the instruction manual. You should get a small little instruction manual, which of course goes through all of his options and stuff like that. And then of course there's the sprue. So, nothing too crazy. Did I throw it out? No, I didn't. It's still in there. You get a very basic base, which I'm not super. I don't give a shit about the basing, so it's just as long as the unit's on the table, I don't fucking care. But this is what bothered me. This is what actually legitimately pissed me off. I don't know if you can see it that well. Move my light around. Not focusing properly. Come on. Stop focusing on my face. Seriously, camera? Are we really doing this right now? Focus on the thing. Thank you. You guys see the problem? It's all Ultramarines shit. Like, god damn it. Because I don't plan on doing an army of Smurfs. I plan on doing an army of Raven Guard. I was originally going to do Salamanders. But there's one problem. My Salamanders list has 2 squads of Assault Marines. Assault Marines are $100 for 5 of them. Or Assault Terminators are $100 for 5 of the bastards. And I'm like, fuck off! I'm like, I'll do that another time when I got more money to burn. Because, like, fuck me. I am not spending that much money on 5 Terminators. That's a little ridiculous. So, but my Raven Guard squad needs a Tech Marine. And it's gonna be fun to do. Like, the whole list is gonna be fun to do because it's very vehicle heavy. I wish Mouse was here. He's seen the list. But the Raven Guard list, what's gonna be really fun to do is it has 2 repulsor executioners in that list. They have a big fuck off laser cannon. Like, I love those machines. But yeah, so I got the Primaris upgrades for the Raven Guard. I don't plan on using all of these, because the big thing isn't so much the sprue as it is the 2 sheets of Raven Guard decals that you get. Because Raven Guard are very specific in how they do things. For example, they don't use high Gothic numerals on their armor. They use low Gothic, which is basically, standard English plus Arabic numerals. And then, obviously they have the Raven on things instead of, like, the fucking Ultramarine thing. But yeah, I wanted to make sure that I had a proper proper thing for it. And so these 2 sheets will be more than enough. Because like the heads, if I can find them. The big thing is like there's like custom shoulder blades and stuff like that. You can see them on there. But the big winner is right here in the middle. Right there. You can't quite see it, but if I turn it to the side, you'll see the beaky helmet. So that's the big thing, is the beaky helmets, which I will be putting on my sergeants or my captains and stuff like that. But somebody got on me about buying official stuff. And they're like, well, if you don't plan at playing like at official like official licensed stores, I don't know why you're buying official stuff. I'm like, I do plan on playing at stores. There's one place in town for me to play, and it's at an official store, or it's at a hobby store in town that sells this stuff. So yes, I'm going to use the official models. Not to mention, if I get good and I want to compete, I can't go to an official competition with a bunch of third-party shit. They'll turn me away. So, sorry. Like, also, ever thought about kit bashing your Ravens? Well, that's why I bought the kit with the Primaris upgrades. But there's other stuff I'm gonna do with them. Like, for example, there's these like emo faces on the Raven Guard that are really kooky looking. It'll focus. Come on. Really? Are we really doing this again? My camera hates me, I swear to God. There it goes. See those emo faces like to the right of the beaky helmet? I am not using those at all. I have no desire to use them. What I am going to do is I'm actually gonna show you. Let me pull up Cave and Shrike's miniature. I want to get the Primaris version. Okay. So, Caven's mini looks pretty good. He's wearing Phobos armor with a jetpack, which is not something you see very often. But the thing about it is that if you notice right here on his hip, he has this dope-ass beaky helmet. But the problem is that you can't... It's not... it doesn't function like a head on the model kit. So if you want him to wear the beaky helmet, it will look like he has no neck. So what I'm going to do is with these emo heads that are on here, I'm going to cut the neck off of it and strap it to and glue it to the beaky helmet to put it on Caven, so that he has his helmet. Because as cool as he looks, beaky helmets are great. He has the best one in the whole franchise. Because this is him in Tactus. This is him prior to the Primaris surgeries. That helmet is fucking awesome. Like, it's the best of the Mark 7 series that I've ever seen. He is one of the coolest looking Marines out there, and he's got such a minimalist design to him, but it's not like so minimalist where he like blends in with everybody else. Not to mention he's got fucking claws. How can you not love it? But anyway, I want my Caven to be wearing that helmet, you know. So, but yeah, I plan on doing a full list. The list will have Caven in it. It's gonna have Ethan Sean in it as well. Which what I plan on doing with him is where is the Michael Torno throws in a $5 Canadian, says, "Will you and Hatman ever return to dual podcasting? Maybe someday in the future. We don't have any current plans for it. Hatman is halfway through law school, so that's his primary." Okay, there's Brother Mouse, and yes, he says, yes, his army list is beefy. Yeah, my Raven Guard list is fucking mean. But this is Ethan Sean. This is the current chapter master, and this is the helmet that I plan on putting on him. Is his beaky helmet, which is also a pretty good one. It's not as good as Caven's. But the one weird thing is that I don't know what all of these markings are supposed to be. So what I'm going to do, whenever I get my hands on him, is I'm going to paint the blood, or not the Blood Ravens, the Raven Guard slogan of Victoria Mount Mortis on these. But yes, love my bird boys. Who is messaging me? Mouse is messaging me. You just tell me that he is indeed watching. So yes. That is the changes that we're looking at for next year. Is streaming twice a week, Monday and Friday, giving myself weekends off, and just I can't say it's necessarily a lighter schedule, but it's definitely one where I'm going to be taking better care of myself, because the problem that I've had this year, we've had a very good year in regards to channel growth. I have not had a good year in regards to my health. When my back got hurt, I put on a bunch of weight. I've had a hard time getting rid of it, to the point where I'm actually meeting with a health professional this next week to talk about weight loss drugs. I understand it's cheating. Right now, I don't care. I'm 40 years old, and I look like shit. It's the only thing on my mind, and I don't want to be 40 years old looking like shit. So, whatever works, works. So, but I'm gonna also start. My health insurance company offers where they will pay for a gym membership, and there's a 24-hour gym here in town, and I'm usually up all night. So, what I will probably end up doing is getting into that, taking whatever medicine helps with the weight loss process, and trying to work out more often. So, goodness. So that's my thoughts on that. That's what we got planned going for this next year. And I think it'll be good. I think we're gonna have a fun time together. My hope is that by the end of the year, we've got the whole backlog done, because we've got to do the Act Guy, we've got to do Heavy Arms, we got to do Sandrock, we got to do the F91, and we got to do the Banshee Norn. And the thing with the Banshee is that I ordered an MS Cage online. The package got stolen. So I'm having to go through USPS to have them investigate what happened with it. And from there, maybe I can get my money back, or the guy's going to try to send me another one, but he wants me to have it investigated by USPS first. So, fun times. I haven't had a package stolen in a long time, too. So that one, the funny thing about it is, whatever fucking moron stole it, he's going to open it up, and he's not going to know what the fuck to do with it. Because it's a mobile suit cage. There's nowhere in town you're going to sell it. You know? Like, what are you thinking? Like, just fucking stealing shit. So, you got by the Shangri-La Junkers Guild, pretty much. Oh, man. So that begs the question, what are you guys looking forward to? Honestly, this next year. Considering how much UC Gundam, what exactly UC look like if the dream of everyone being a new type were to become a reality? I don't think much would change. I think that's sort of one of the underlying notes about the whole new type thing as it went on, is that just because someone's a new type and their ability to communicate becomes that much easier, it doesn't necessarily mean that the universe would become that much better. Just Char and Amuro were both new types. Camille Bidan and Haman Karn, both new types. Judo Ashta and Haman Karn, both new types. You know, like, it's one of those things where it actually doesn't make the world better. You know, just because you can communicate that much easier with people doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to put the things away that actually cause conflict. You know, it goes beyond communication, which is something that I think a lot of people, like, especially in the modern day, still don't understand. Some people just want to kill. And some people are convinced that the universe will not be the way that it should be unless a certain person or people are dead. And you have to confront that. And you have to decide what you want to do with that. Let's see what people are looking forward to. Dixie Wrecked. Very nice. His dog's birthdays. Resident Evil 9. That's going to be cool. I'm always down for more Resident Evil. More talk about Gundam and 40K. Maybe video games. Getting out to Wisconsin to see a friend you haven't seen in almost 10 years. Always nice. How do you think Universal Century Tech would be viewed if the Universal Century Earth was found by the Imperium of Man? Oh, man. That's the thing. They would kind of be surprised as to how they were able to get such response from their mechs without having the pilot directly plugged into the fucking suit. Because, for those who don't know, Titans and Knights are partially piloted by the mind of the pilot, directly linked into the machine. Sort of like Iron-Blooded Orphans, for those of you who don't know 40K. So basically they have something akin to the Alea Vignana system. The difference is that in 40K, machines have something called a machine spirit. It's basically AI. So they are effectively merging with them in a sense on a mental level to properly pilot. It is fucking wild. So um so they would probably be really interested in that. They would probably um especially be interested in in some new type technology to see if psychers work the same way. Because if they do, um the ability for psychers to better pilot giant machines would change exactly how the Adeptus Titanica and the Knights look at how they're doing things, you know. But what would probably shock them the most is the output of the machines. You know, like the Universal Century. I've mentioned this before, but if you put something like the Sinanju Stein in an arena with a knight, the knight is going bye-bye. And it's going to go bye-bye faster than they're going to wonder how the fuck it moved that fast. So, yeah, they'd lose their minds. They'd be like, "What the?" But it could also turn the tide of a lot of conflicts because those machines are so much better than what the Tau are packing. Because I don't like the Tau, but I will give them the credit that they have more efficient mechs than the Imperium does. So, holy shit! Is this gonna be a new thing that happens? It's just random Akasupa. Fucking Dead Ronin, thank you for $99.99. I don't know why I didn't play the notification. I am sorry. But he says, "Hey Micah, how's it going? Been a very long time since I've been in chat. Just had a major event happen. Positive life change. 2 days life changed. Working my ass off. Paid off. Hell yeah, dude. Congratulations, Sen. Hopefully everything is positive. For sure. But it's a good feeling though, isn't it? In fact, it's a great feeling. Just, it's always nice for hard work to pay off. You know? Like, I've been having a similar feeling this year because we've been building up and building up and building up, and then these last 2 months, things, well, not even last 2 months. Like, I had been struggling with my bills and stuff for most of the year until like the last 6 months. Let me look at my analytics real. Because we just crossed. In fact, I'll show you this real fast. We just crossed 45K subs today. We're only 5K away from the next big goal. Is because right now my life goals are I'll go over them in a second, but 50,000 subscribers is one of them. But to kind of give you an idea of like the money I've made this year. Let's do last 365 days. Actually, let's just do last 90 days. No, that didn't work. So it's been since August. So this will kind of give you an idea. So August, you start noticing revenue wise, I'm going from $900, which, or like before this, I'm making like 500, 600. My rent is 700. So on these months, I'm really busting my ass with my editing gigs and stuff like that, trying to make them as good as possible. There were points I had to have friends help me out with my bills. Then we hit August, and then suddenly everything changes because $1,500 is double my rent, and double my rent means that rent is paid, and all my bills are paid, and I've got money for, to set aside. So I've had that consistently for 3 months, and then my next paycheck, which comes in on 21st, is almost $3,000. Like, this is what I used to make at State Farm when I used to work there with overtime. So to have busted my ass as much as I have these last 2 years to make something out of this channel, both me and Shirt Dude have worked very hard to get this somewhere, and we're there. We're finally there. I have a guy that I work with because I do some side work as well as a script writer. For another YouTube channel, and the dude who runs it he made his money big time here on YouTube. And he flat out told me, he said, when you get to 50,000 subscribers, that's when you start making better money. They start paying you better ad rates, and on top of that, they start recommending you even more. So, and I live pretty humble. I live in a little apartment. It's just as small as a 2-bedroom will get in the heart of Illinois. And to kind of show you guys what my big goals are, I don't know if you can read this. I can't make it bigger. I'll just read it. So the goals for me, and what if I could get all this done in a year, it'd be incredible, but I don't think it's going to happen. But life goals: hit 50,000 subscribers, finish the Inglewood fulfillment. I now have a good fulfillment guy who's not going to knife me in the back. I have somebody that's going to just be professional about shit. I have that. And the books are almost all printed. Actually, no, everything is printed. I just need the money to ship it. But I'm going to be able to fulfill Inglewood this year. So those two are going to happen. I'm hoping to finish and fulfill 3 Nights, 4 Days. And then after that, I'm saving money for a car. And then after I get a car, saving money for a house. Finally buy a house. And hopefully move out to North Carolina. If not by the time I'm 41, definitely by the time I'm 42. So. We're getting there, buddy. We're getting there. Laprin says, speaking of UC scenario time, Death Star rolls up into the solar system. We get one big battle before Tarkin makes the body count look like a joke. Which Universal Century faction do we send to fight? To bring down the Death Star? So anytime during the Universal Century. That's a tough one. Because, well, if I had to pick, I would probably pick Londo Bell to go after them. Londo Bell when they had Amuro. That's who I would pick. I think they could bring it down. I was going to say either them or the Crossbone Vanguard. Crossbone Vanguard circa when Bararona is running them, not when they're run by her father and grandfather. Oh, man. You know what's really nice? Is that, like, it's super... Or it's warmed up a bit today. All the snow is melted. And I'm ecstatic about it. So... have you been to the first Gundam base in the U.S.? I will probably try to go sometime in January. The problem that I run into... So, funny story. I have had a hell of a time getting new identification. because I need to have my birth certificate to get a new ID. And we can't find it. We can't find my one with like my actual name on it. We have this, what I call the SAD certificate, which is the one prior to my adoption, which doesn't have a name for the baby's name. That's the depressing one. Because for those who don't know, we talked about this on my birthday. I was born without a name. The God, I'm already getting tripped up thinking about it. It still trips me up to this day. They didn't even have like a fucking placeholder name. That's how little they fucking cared. But anyway, the I need to get my hands on a birth certificate with my name on it. So we've narrowed it down. It has to be out in Arizona because that's where I was born. Problem is, Arizona wants you to have an ID to get your birth certificate to get an ID. It's like, so I can't get my birth certificate from you then. And I've tried asking them and talking to them, like, well, can I use my old ID? That it's expired, yes, but it is me. And they're like, well, no, you can't use it because it's expired. I'm like, yeah, but the purpose of an identification is for you to know the person that you're talking to is actually who you're talking to. It is me. It has my current address and everything on it. Why can't you use it just to verify that? And it's just like talking to fucking Indian, fucking do not redeem, sir, fucking customer service. So I'm like, oh, fuck you. Like talking to AI, which is even worse. So when it comes right down, so what I have to do, and I'm gonna have to do this over Christmas, is my mother is gonna have to order the birth certificate, get it sent to her, and then I get it from her, and then go get my ID, because then I can actually have an ID to where I can rent a hotel room, and then I'll hop on a train, head up to Chicago for a few days, and then I'm gonna go to that Gundam store, see what they've got going on, and do like a little video on it if they will allow me to film in there. So Brain throws in 10 or renews his membership 10 months. Says, been playing a ton of classic MK. What the fuck happened to the fighting game genre since then? Also, congrats on 45K. Thank you, buddy. But yeah, like for me to get another driver's license, I have to fucking do the whole test again, like written and actual test. I don't have a car, and I can't expect any of my friends who all own one car to let me borrow their car to get it done. So it's like, well, fuck. Like, this is so stupid. So I'm just, and what's worse is like the places that used to take my FOID card, which is my federal it's my firearm license. The places that used to take that now don't take it because there's a court case in Illinois going on whether or not those things are actually constitutional. Yeah. So it blows. So can't get a car, can't rent a hotel room, can't do any of that. Also can't like even buy like alcohol or anything. Not that I'm even drinking these days, but like, but I can buy a gun, or I could. I used to be able to. Now I fucking can't. So, which sucks because I don't know if this is a recent development, but Bass Pro Shops now sells Beretta. So I will be picking one of those up at some point in the near future. If you couldn't tell, I'm judging by my fucking background. I'm quite partial to the Beretta 92. What can I say? They're really good handguns. The American Sniper was a Space Marine. Would he be a Raven Guard or one of their successors? Oh, Leo, look up the Raptors in 40K. Like, if you want an American military parallel in Warhammer 40,000, the Raptors are the are your guys. Don't feel bad. NC would not reopen my mother's adoption records. Took 23andMe for her to find out she had 6 other siblings whose mother was Satan incarnate. Jesus. Fishing has become hardcore. Well, Bass Pro Shops is always sold hunting gear, and pistols can be used to hunt. So, but yeah, they mostly sell Glock stuff, which if you want a Glock, okay. I'm not gonna. I can't say bad things about Glock. Glock is good. Stig I don't like. Never liked him. But Glock and Beretta, like if those are my options, that's who I'll go with. Or a Smith and Wesson, you know. Oh goodness. During the Reddit stream, found out that Redditors are not human because they don't know how to be human. I'm more human than they are. Jeez. Yeah. Funnily enough, people seem to think that I was a lot more bothered by the Reddit thing than I was. It was the one guy who called me a groiper. That actually legitimately made me really angry. For most of it, I was more confused than anything. Because I just couldn't believe that, like, they could this many people could get so many things wrong, to the point where I'm just like, do you not pay attention when people are talking? And the answer is no. Redditors, as we have found out, I mentioned this last week, but I'll reiterate it. They are the type of people that don't really have conversations with people. They sit and wait for you to finish talking, specifically so they can talk, and they don't talk to you, they talk at you. And that I hate people like that. I really, really do. Excuse me. I'm gonna go take a nap here in a minute. Have you heard of the horror survival game in development called Ill? Yes. I'm looking forward to it. It's been on my wish list since it was announced. How do you think a Michael Bay directed Gundam would look? Ugh. I don't. That sounds horrible. It would not be good. He would kind of miss the point. Ah, drop my freaking earpiece. What do I get for fidgeting? Fell back here. Grab my scratch. Find it. Come here. There we go. It's also funny of you being a groiper, yet groipers hate your fucking guts. Yeah, the one fucking controversy we had during Cyberpop was fucking Synthetic Man and his community getting all pissy at me and Lolly. Like, yeah, they hate my fucking guts. They think I'm an evil, corrupting Jew. Now I have to hit the button. You know, like, it's just one of those things, man. It's just very, very stupid. So, Reddit versus Facebook, who has the worst takes? Well, Facebook is the place you go when to find out all the crazy political tastes that your aunt and uncle have. You know, um, the Whereas Reddit is just the worst people. I was watching a little bit of Caleb Hammer earlier, and um he talked about like snark brain. I just call it Reddit brain because it's basically like people that are so fucking stupid and they are so attached to their assumptions that they will not listen to anything that opposes it at all. And um they get very angry when you confront them on it. And it's like, dude, what the, like, you lied. Well, you either lied or you weren't paying attention. Either way, you're wrong. And you need to just own up to it. And they will not do that. They'll just, ignore that and still continue being evil. My thoughts on the farms. I have an account there. I've commented on threads and stuff. I got brought into it because somebody had been bringing me up in regards to comic skate stuff. And because enough people had asked about me, I'm like, you know what, fuck it, I'll go in there, I'll talk and answer some questions. And that's exactly what I did. And I've had an account ever since. And just whenever that sort of thing happens, I'll go in there and discuss it. Durham, you are like 20 years late for that. 20 years. This old meme. Old as fuck. But which social media is worse? People from Reddit or Blue? Oh, dude, Blue Sky is the worst place. Blue Sky is all pedophiles, mentally ill people, and people wanting to murder people for differing opinions. Blue Sky is full of psychos. Like, Blue Sky is Blue Sky is if you took Twitter and Tumblr and put them in a blender and then gave everybody a bunch of heroin. Actually, no, scratch that. A bunch of meth. So they are just violent all the time. That's what Blue Sky is. It's Twitter and Tumblr on meth. Like, it's fucking terrible. Shame with the downfall of your boy Zach. I wish the Comic Skate thread would talk about the other creators. Yeah, well, admittedly, the fall of Richard is sort of something to be studied at this point. And I say this as somebody who used to be friendly with him. I can't recall a guy just doing as much of a 180 as he did after the death of Ed Piskor. And it's like, you're going after Eric July for stuff, and you're going after Critical Drinker for stuff, and you're forming like the worst fucking arguments about them. The criticisms come across not really like criticisms, they come across like jealousy. You're saying that people don't watch the movies that they comment on when the videos that you're referencing, they're able to describe the movie that they just watched in detail. Like, I hear that and I'm like I have genuinely thought of messaging him and saying, Richard, what the fuck is going on? But I know at this point he won't listen to me because a while ago, I had commented on one of his videos disagreeing with him, and I disagreed with him in a civil manner. And used to be like, whenever I would do that, he would heart the comment, be like, oh yeah, it's Micah, how's it going, dude? Like, yeah, and he would listen. Now he just deletes my comments, deletes other people's comments. He will not listen to dissenting opinion, even if it's voiced in a way that is charitable to what he's saying. You know, people are just getting sick of it, and he's lost like 20,000 subscribers, I think, over the last year. Like, Jesus Christ, man. And I don't say this to be mean to the guy. I like Richard. You know, he's only ever been nice to me until like that shit. But even then, it's just I don't know where his head's at. You know. And by the way, I don't agree with a lot of the things that Drinker says or fucking Nerdrotic or those guys. I mean, people bring up Az. I really don't like Az. He's annoying to me because I don't think he believes in a fucking thing he says. But regardless, the simple fact is that there's ways to make these arguments and to discuss these topics without being a fucking doofus about it. But he just decides to go down the doofus path all day, and it's like, dude, you're not helping yourself here. So Dickie Meyer hasn't been the same since he got spanked by Wade's prick. Yeah, and as someone who very loudly was on his side, you know, I won't lie, I kind of feel let down by the dude. So, I don't want to talk politics, guys. I don't get into that stuff anymore. But the simple fact is that it's been really sad to see, and I don't like seeing that happen, even to people who like. I don't even like seeing that happen to people that dislike me. So like having it with people that, you know, or seeing people fall like that I actually do like them as people is really depressing. Um, so something about comics just made some people insane. Yeah, it's really weird. If Crossbones to be animated, should they remake F91 first? I would like to see that happen. I think a mini series of F91 would be nice. As I said earlier, some people just really need to step away from the internet and do stuff IRL that doesn't involve shit agitating them. Yeah, pretty much. That's my whole thing. You know, I cut a lot of things out of my life over these last couple of years, and the more I think about it, the less stressful my life became when I didn't have to deal with as much bullshit. You know. Oh God. I woke up way too early today. An old man nap might be in order. F91, 13 episodes to 25 episodes. Um, from what I understand, Kamino's original vision was that it was only going to be a mini series. So, might not even need to be 13 episodes. And F91 has a really good animation quality standard, so I would like to see like maybe 4 or 5 OVAs or something like that done at top notch quality. And I think then you can go from there. The thing about Crossbone is that they're gonna have to commit hard to it, and I think that's been part of the reason they haven't done it or wanted to do it is because they would have to commit as hard as they did with Iron Blooded Orphans to do Crossbone, you know. So, but yeah. On that note, I am going to bring an end to the stream today. I appreciate everybody coming by, hanging out, talking with me. It has been a very good year. You will see me a couple more times before the end of the year. I'm gonna be streaming with Lolly on Saturday, and then I should be back on the 26th. So we might do a stream on the 29th or 30th. But I'm going to go take an old man nap because I only slept like 4 or 5 hours last night. So I'm going to go get a nap in and watch a movie. But I appreciate all you guys coming by, hanging out. Especially those of you who are very liberal with super chats. Jesus Christ, Ed Ronan. But I'm glad to serve you guys as best I can. I will continue to do so. Hopefully next year's even bigger, you know. But and if it is, you know, we're kind of seeing the end of a long, hard road that ends with a brand new one with better pavement and less insanity. So, with that said, I'm going to go get my old man nap in, and then I'm going to wake up and make a fucking bacon cheeseburger. So, I will catch you guys next time. Have yourselves a very Merry Christmas. May your hearts be mild.